Well, hello and welcome to the Shifts and Pucks News Pack for Wednesday, October the 5th. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at Shifts and Pucks, Facebook.com Shifts and Pucks, YouTube.com Shifts and Pucks, Twitch.com Shifts and Pucks. Subscribe wherever you get your audio, as well as on the Area 51 Sports Network. We have a couple of preseason games tonight. Chris, it's the Sean and Chris show. I do not believe that they've ever been a combination that Ridey and Solo on Shifts and Pucks, but they are the two that are going to drive the bus tonight as I'm working tonight and others are not available. So check that out and what they're going to discuss. Probably a lot of Canucks talk as they continue on in their preseason. They're playing the Edmonton Oilers at Abbotsford tonight. We'll touch on that in a little bit. The Flames will be in Winnipeg for their preseason game tonight against the Winnipeg Jets. So we'll dig into that in a little bit. But we're going to start with Hockey Canada here as and just recognizing the emotions that go around. There's a lot of deeply triggering, sensitive stuff here. So, but I do want to acknowledge that it's important to talk about, but I do understand that there's some sensitivity and some difficulty with some of these topics. So I do want to put a little bit of a trigger warning as we continue on this conversation, but I also we can't ignore that, obviously. And some updates today, of course, there were the hearings yesterday. Andrea Skinner, former chair, Michael Brindamore were part of were interviewed for 2 hours by the Standing Heritage Committee. And it was a very frustrating experience for the committee, as again it just looked like Hockey Canada is not quite understanding the gravity of the situation that they've put in. Of course, it was revealed, a Globe and Mail report revealed another fund has been released for, which appears to be for with emergency fund for sexual assault, dealing financially with that. And so we continue to deal with these issues with Hockey Canada. And now Sheldon Kennedy reiterated yesterday on Twitter the call for change. Corey Hirsch came out and said call for change. And now we've got provinces getting involved in making some steps to Hockey Canada. And one of the things that Andrea Skinner said yesterday was that she did not believe that if Hockey Canada was involved, that she was not convinced the lights would be turned on a hockey rinks. And I think that comes across very arrogant to a lot of people, very condescending. And now we're seeing a bit of a different strategy. And some provinces and some organizations have been doing this. But Hockey Canada is withholding funds or Hockey Quebec withholding funds from Hockey Canada, pardon me. They said that they've lost confidence in Hockey Canada and will not transfer funds. They also confirmed, according to the Canadian press, that its board of directors adopted a motion last night saying it does not believe that Hockey Canada's current structure can change hockey culture. This is a report. La Presse first reported it, confirmed by the Canadian press. So they've decided to keep the portion of registrations normally handed over to the organization. It's about $3 a sign up. The Ontario Hockey Federation, and it's the largest of all the federations, of course, Ontario being the largest province, has resent a formal request asking Hockey Canada not to collect the $3 fee from its members. Philip McKee says that they made that request back in July when former chair Michael Brindamore stepped down before to Michael Brindamore in July. Brindamore stepped down on August the 6th. No comments from Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, or BC as of yet on this, but we've seen sponsors step away. We have continue lack of response. Now we're seeing this. We'll see what happens as the demand for either a change or something continues to happen. need to happen, and we will hope to. We'll continue to watch this. I probably will be just dealing with my own schedule of use 11:30, just trying to deal with that. I'm going to try to schedule something next week with an interview to kind of see if we can get something more, kind of talk more about that. But that's where we're our first on here. Um, Now we'll start with we'll go on here with the Flames. They wrap up their preseason with a game tonight against the Jets, and then Friday against the Jets, home and home. And lineup tonight for the Flames and the Jets. We'll kind of touch on both of them here. Um, even uh, even as we go on here. Looking at this as we pull the lineup here. By the way, it looks like a scheduled start probably tonight for Sean and Chris around 6 o'clock Pacific, 7 Mountain. I think is the plan at this particular point. Uh, but we'll go through the lineup here for the Flames as they get ahead against the Winnipeg Jets. A couple of interesting things to note on this lineup here. We'll start with the lines: Lindholm, Huberdeau, Toffoli, Kadri, Mangiapane, Dubé. That line really started to develop some good chemistry. Daryl Sutter's been talking about not finding a winger, having trouble finding a winger for Kadri, so that's good. Ruzicka Zohorna Radim Sordana making his debut for the Flames. He was acquired on waivers by the Penguins. Coleman, Rooney, Lucic, and Ritchie. And so note code, no Cody Eakin. Note no Sonny Milano. Milano is yet to score a point in these preseason. He did not get any power play time against the Kraken on here on Monday. So that's interesting. We'll see what happens there. We've got Uyghur and Tanev together, Zadorov and Anderson, and Hanifin and Stone. Vladar will get the start, and Wolf will back him up. And just so as we continue to kind of it's interesting the way that they're mixing the pairings around here. I think we've all been kind of wondering about Hanifin, Anderson, Tanev, Uyghur, kind of looking that around. So they're mixing some things around, getting some different looks. I think that that's good. I do not think that one of the things that I think the Flames struggled with last year when they ended up playing the Oilers was having two statics of a pairing and not able to deal with injuries as you deal with a Chris Tanev dealt with the Chris Tanev injury last time. So that is that situation there. Emotional day, I imagine, too, for Andrew Mangiapane, Rasmus Anderson, former coached by Dale Hawerchuk, developed by the late Dale Hawerchuk, and they, of course, on Saturday there was the Dale Hawerchuk statue reveal, and of course both of them played their junior hockey when Hawerchuk coached with the Barrie Colts. You see a picture on Twitter with the Flames watching that on Flames Twitter with Mangiapane and Anderson in front of that. I think that is a something there. And for the Winnipeg Jets tonight, it's Scheifele, Connor, Ehlers, Donato, Perfetti, Lambert, Lowry, Barron, Appleton, Gustafson, Menelanen, and Sam Gagne. Defensively, Morris DeMello, Dylan and Nate Schmidt, Sandberg, Heinola, Stanley, Pionk are the line rushes. David Riddick, former Nashville Predator, former Calgary Flame, former Toronto Maple Leaf, getting the call and goal home, the backup on that. And looks like it looks like that Schmidt and Dillon are the ones that are sitting out. This is according to Ken. Josh Morrissey running power play 1, and Ville Hanoa and Neil Pionk working on power play too. So if you're one guy to watch tonight, if you're watching this game, is Brad Lambert. He has made a really good impression so far for the Winnipeg Jets. First round pick, later round pick. A lot of people had high expectations for him coming into this draft year. Had a bit of a setback, but they're wondering where Brad Lambert is going to start. And it may not be, there was an expectation coming into training camp WHL, but it's a possibility he's going to get a look at the start of the year here in Winnipeg at least. So he showed well at the Young Stars Classic, and continues to show well at camp. So that's a guy I think you should watch for the Winnipeg Jets as they play the Calgary Flames tonight if you're watching that game. Let's flip to Vancouver and the Oilers. They're playing in Abbotsford. More of a regular lineup for the most part for the Canucks. Miller, Pearson, Garland, Horvat, Dakota Joshua, and Hoglander. I think Dakota Joshua has had a really strong camp for the most part for the Canucks. Pedersen, Podkolzin, Kuzmenko, and then Niels Amon between Jason Dickinson and Curtis Lazar. The extras are Sheldon Dries and Linus Karlsson. Defensively, it's back to a bit old school. It's Quinn Hughes back on the left side with Luke Shen. OEL with Tucker Poolman. Kyle Burrows, Tyrone Myers, Christian Wolanin still with the team. I think he's looked pretty well too, and Jack Rathbone. Looks like Spencer Martin is going to get the start in goal for the Vancouver Canucks tonight in Abbotsford. The Oilers are bringing in a few big names, including the one and only Connor McDavid is expected to. That was according to the line rushes tonight here. We'll just get that up here, but it looks like Connor McDavid's going to be in that lineup for the Oilers as and pulling that line up here. There we go. According to Tony Brar of Oilers TV, the lines rushes this morning: McDavid, Dylan Holloway, who had 4 points for the Oilers in Vancouver Monday, and Zach Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, Devin Shore, Jesse Puljujarvi, Ryan McLeod, Matthias Janmark, Derek Ryan, Malone, Hamblin, and Jake Virtanen. Jay Woodcroft has said Virtanen has still got a chance in there. The observations from a number of people, Jake Virtanen, is he's not looked good, so we'll see. That's all I'll say about that. Defensively, Nurse and CC, Brett Kulak, Evan Bouchard, Ryan Murley, Philip Broberg, Demers, and Niemelin. Looks like Stuart Skinner will get the call in goal, and Calvin Pickard will be the backup. That's the Tony did point out that this is simply line rushes, so see what happens. But looking like they're Connor McDavid could see Connor McDavid in Abbotsford there. By the way, just back to the Canucks, Colin Delia on all the waiver claims. No waiver claims, that includes Colin Delia cleared waivers. So an interesting situation in Vancouver in Abbotsford as they start their training camp is that goaltending situation. You've got Colin Delia, you've got Arthur Seelovs, and you got Michael DiPietro battling for 2 spots. Calgary Wranglers, they've started their training camp this week as well, so getting set there as well. WHL action tonight as the season continues, and we started on the news 11:30. I haven't looked simply on this, but a couple of things here. It is the Regina Pats. Sam Harembra, newly acquired, heading to Edmonton to take on the Oil Kings. Saskatoon Blades will be on the road tonight, and they are facing the Moose Jaw Warriors. And you got the Lethbridge Hurricanes taking on the Prince Albert Raiders. You got the Victoria Royals and the Kelowna Rockets tonight. And that's where we'll end, with the Kelowna Rockets. Pavel Novak, he had a tough summer. He diagnosed with oncological disease, stepping away for his preparations. But this is from his Twitter this morning, or from Kelowna Rockets Twitter this morning. Hello, everyone. After a few months of troubles, I'm happy to share with you that I beat the cancer. There's no better feeling than to be healthy again. I would like to say thank you to all the doctors who helped me to get over this. You're my heroes. The biggest thank you to my parents and my sister who always supported me and went through all treatment with me. It wouldn't work without you. And thank you to everyone who was praying for me. I'm really excited about what the future begins. So that's great news for Pavel Novak. Hope he can get on the ice and play the game he loves really soon. So that's the news for today. Again, looks like they're starting start time 5 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Mountain. Live. We'll have the podcast up, audio up tomorrow. You can follow Sean, Beardy Canuck 03, Christian Schneids, SCHNEIDZ, Devin Gordhow 09, busy with the amped advantage, but still keeping up. Tyler TNOBLE, and I am KEVOLE, Shifts and Pucks, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Subscribe wherever you get your audio, as well as on the Area 51 Sports Network. Thank you for watching and listening. We will talk to you very soon. Bye for now.